Oh, that was quick tonight. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock. It's the Sports Deck podcast. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Um, just double checking everything is live. I'm pretty certain it is.
Well, you should have lots of green dots and a round of applause for working it out.
Yeah, we are definitely live. Here we go. All right. So, oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Um, should we start with a song?
You can do. I'm getting a message saying, due to the exceptionally low bandwidth available to you, there is a strong possibility of a significant decrease or quality or complete loss of video. I
Oh,
don't
well,
know
I can
why.
check the stream and you're fine.
Oh, hold on a minute. Due to limit, there's a possible significant reduction in your video quality. This is coming up everywhere.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I'm not. It's
Don't
just a blooming
worry.
nuisance.
Yes, just
If
close
I
it all down.
disappear, no one's going to notice.
As long as we can hear you, that's the main thing.
Yeah, they can hear me. That's not a blessing for most people.
So, how was your weekend? Good one?
You do know I support Tottenham, yeah?
All right. Without the football, how was your weekend? Was it good?
Yeah. The sun came out. I cut the grass. My back garden looks lovely. There are flowers everywhere. There's bits growing
Oh,
everywhere. I mean, it's really nice. Seriously, the front garden's
oh.
quite good. I did it as well. I gave the old bush a trim. You need to trim your bush. I can't stand it if the bush isn't trimmed. Seriously, it really does my head in. I like things in the right place, and I
Oh,
like to
yes.
see what I'm doing.
This is a family show, by the way.
Yeah, listen, they are trimmed, right? They look really nice. They're quite manicured. It's very important to look after your front garden and your back garden.
Yes.
And I've got a back garden over there and a front garden over there.
And they're
So
both looked after.
yeah, and the thing is, I've just ordered online today these little They look like a rock setting that you tap them in with it's going to sound funny, like a soft hammer. They're like rubber hammers, and they go in and they make a nice border edge. So it
Okay.
will make the front of the garden look nice, and then I can do the raised beds and make the raised beds a bit higher. So I like to look after my front garden, and I like to look after the rear, and I like my bushes to be all sort of prim and proper. So, contrary to anyone thinking that I work on Gardener's World, I don't, but I do like things to look quite nice.
Well,
I know that's not at all to do with sport, but that's what I was doing.
this is the problem is that now, like, we got to the end of the season, we've got no basketball, we've not got much football to go to and commentate on. So what do we do with our weekends?
Cricket
Oh, well, no,
and
I'm
the
only
golf, because Brooks kept him on the PGA yesterday
what
again.
interesting things can we do with our weekend?
Well, you can go gardening.
I could go gardening. Or you could come round do my garden.
No, I can't. You can't afford me.
So shall I tell you
I
about
don't know
my
if you need your
weekend?
bush trimmed. I don't know about that.
Shall I tell you about my weekend?
Yes, I was just about to say, tell me about yours.
Okay, so Saturday we didn't do much. It was nice and quiet. Sunday I was at Wembley for the FA Vars final between Ascot Town and Newport Pagnell Town.
Yeah, I know a few people who went to that.
Yep, the end. No, nothing else left to say. That's it.
Hold on a minute. So for the three viewers that are watching, might only be two. What was it like being in the press box?
Oh, so that's not my first time at Wembley in the press box.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
If you
Um,
are the viewer that's listening to this, what did I just say? How was the view from the press box? That
view
was
is
all
always
I asked.
wonderful from the press box at Wembley. And I've
Yeah.
got to say, they treat you very, very well. They give you breakfast, they give you lunch. If you stay for both games, you get dinner, like snacks in between,
Two games. While the game was on.
Huh? It was
While the
the
game was on.
FA Trophy final, wasn't it? Gateshead versus Halifax.
Oh yeah, did Halifax win?
Halifax won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Halifax Town. Yeah. They used to
I know.
play at a stadium called
Yeah.
Halifax Town, who I think they are,
Yeah.
used to play at a stadium called the Shea. And the Shea Stadium is where they used to do Speedway, because that was around
Okay.
the pitch.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
useless bit of information that I've garnered over the 60 odd years that somebody allowed me to breathe.
So we were it was Luca's 19th birthday on Saturday, bless him.
Who?
So I Luca, my Luca.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Lucas, and I was thinking, who's Lucas? Right,
Who's
okay.
Lucas? Yeah,
Right.
so I took him to Wembley.
9? How can he only be 9? You're only 27.
19.
Not 19? And you're
Yeah.
27? What happened there then? Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
viewer. She's 37. It's all right.
Yeah, a bit more, bit more.
All right, 52. But don't tell anyone I told you.
Yeah, I took him to the media box with us and he had a great time.
Right, that's nice.
He really enjoyed it. So, yeah.
But you didn't have a nice time.
It was so pants. It was really pants. I got to say,
Pants.
Newport
Pants.
were, yeah, Newport edged it. First half was a bit cagey and no team really had any good chances. A few half chances, both
Sorry,
teams.
no, what was that? What was that? What was that? No, what?
Can you not hear me very well?
Pardon?
Shall I put the mic like that? Is that
Oh, I
better?
can hear you now.
Would you stop it? Oh no, you're making me
There's one
conscious.
viewer who's now gone deaf.
Right, do you want me to hold it? Shall I hold the mic then?
Oh, the mic.
Do you want me to hold it?
No, you don't have to hold it. I can hear you, really. I just turn the volume down when you come on.
Just shut up.
Look, I can put my volume up. Hold on. I'm not even sure what size what it's on. It's on. Hold on. Oh, crikey, I'm on 85. Look, I'll put you on 90. There you go.
Is that better?
Not really, but it doesn't matter. I'm muttley anyway, so.
Where was I? Oh yeah, first half. Yeah, a bit cagey. And
Wembley?
it was 0-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Second half, Newport had a bit more possession than Ascot. Had a few chances, half chances. I think they only had one shot on target. The Ascot keeper had to make one save the whole game, which was a bit poor.
Yeah. A bit
And
poor.
then out of the blue, Ascot down the other end. Against the run of play, go and blooming score. What can
I
you
think
say?
they call that life.
That's like, do you know, it's funny because I said to Luca,
Okay, I got Luca.
I said to Luca a few, like about 15 minutes earlier, Newport are going to rue the chances that they've missed. And they did.
Yeah, I said that about Spurs on Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, we had the same problem. Should have been 2 or 3 up at half time, and that's Tottenham all over this season. I'm so glad well, it depends, but not that I want you to stop telling us about Wembley. Was there anything else you wanted to add to Wembley about it was pants?
No, but there is some news with regards to
Oh,
Newport.
go on then. They're moving.
Well, no, they're not. The goalkeeper, Martin Conway, he's left.
Where's he gone?
Don't know if he's retiring or if he's
Oh, right.
moving on to a different club. That hasn't come out yet, but he's left.
Right.
And the manager and the assistant coach for Newport have left and gone to Leighton Town.
Well, isn't it funny? Because obviously our
Isn't it
guest who's not
funny?
here would have been able to enlighten us, but unfortunately, for the viewer that is listening, we did have a guest plan for tonight. He has been approached by a larger club than he was at, and at the minute he's sitting in a board meeting discussing plans for the next season. So he's not able to be with us tonight, but as Tara knows, the next show we're doing on the 5th of June, expected guest should hopefully be with us. According to his text message to me yesterday, I'll see you in 2 weeks, Steve. So
Yeah.
yeah, that should be good.
Well, it's going to
Um,
be interesting what he's got to say.
yes, even more so. You just mentioned that, so that's something you need to carry over. I'm not even going to give him a heads up on that one, so
Yeah.
you can carry that
Well,
one
to be
over.
fair, it's all over socials. It's all over socials. So I'm sure he
Yeah,
is very, very well aware that
he might
Gary
be.
Flynn and
He,
Gary
he
Charles
he
have
might
moved
be.
on.
People like me are barely able to use Facebook nowadays. Honestly, the time in the day, I often wondered why we don't have 6 days of 28 hours instead of seven of blooming 24, because I don't get any blooming rest on Sunday either. I end up gardening half the day. And if there were 28 hours in a day, I could actually have 7 hours in bed. I figured that's about right. You could go to work for 8 hours and you could have 8 hours set aside for, hello, op. Um,
Op Finesse,
and
hello. Thank you for joining us.
there was one viewer, you see. Um, but if there were 28 hours in a day, you could have 8 hours in bed. And when I say that, I don't mean in bed, but actually relaxing and sleeping, and 8 hours at work. And the remaining 12 hours, you've got 4 hours to go and do things like cook and clean and garden and tidy up and wash yourself and all that stuff. All right, Finn. And the other hours that you'd have left, the other 8, you could go and do something really good, like have a great round of golf or something like that, because that normally takes about 5 hours, maybe 6 if you've got to stop for a couple of drinks afterwards and get in there and what have you. So you'd have actually time in the day to spend family time as well. 7 days a week, it's daft. I think we should have 6 days of 28, and I'm sure I'm right.
You need to go and join politics. That's what you need to do.
I should have done that. I wish.
Should have done that.
There's a part of me, you know what, if you had an ultra life that runs parallel to the life you had. So if I
You'd have
look
been
at
a
my life
politician.
and I think to myself, I knew I shouldn't have played football that day. I wouldn't have done my kneecap in. I would have been able to have a good career in sport. I knew on the day of the derby in '85, if I'd have known that El Gran Senor was going to get done on the line by Secreto, I'd have backed Secreto. Well, yeah, I'd have only got $250,000 anyway because that was a maximum payout in those days. But I'd have
But
done the bet in
still,
three.
not to
I'd
be
have done the
sneezed
bet in
at.
3 or 4 different shops, so I would have ended up with $1 million. And in 1984, £1 million was a lot of money.
It was. It was.
You could buy a detached mansion in Mill Hill for about 250 grand, and a
Blimey.
Ferrari was about 50. To give you an idea, so if you'd
What?
have invested 650 in the bank, you'd be laughing. Give you an
Well,
idea. So but that's another story. But my side life, yeah, I often thought I'd love to have done politics. I'd like to have gone to college, uni, studied politics, and then stood as an MP. Problem is, I'm probably, well, I was quite right wing in those days, um, and I can't stand layabouts, and I never have. And the
I've
loony
just,
left
I'm
were
just gonna,
layabouts.
I'm gonna interrupt you, Steve. I've just had a message on socials. Martin Conway has retired, so it doesn't look like he's going to join another club.
Right, I
The
didn't know
goalkeeper.
him.
Yeah, so it
He's the
looks like
goalkeeper.
he's the goalkeeper, so he has retired.
How old was he?
Do you know? I don't really know. I don't
Well,
know. I think he's in. I would say maybe early 30s,
yeah, but
well,
maybe he's
late
been
20s,
injured.
early 30s. I don't know.
By the way, we've also got today, forgetting the politics now, we need to go back to our show, but I did Who Am I, right? And this Who Am I is a real corker. See, you had it real easy because someone else joined in last week and gave you the answer straight away. So I'm going to give you question one, well, part one of Who Am I, yeah?
Yep, go.
Right. So I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man, and I was born in 1957. That doesn't really help you much, does it?
That really is not helpful. A man born in 1957.
Yeah, but this person, I have to be careful how I put this. This person had an effect on an awful lot of people.
Okay.
So this isn't someone who's people don't know of.
Okay.
I'm just giving you. I'm giving you an idea that it's not that you won't, you're not going to get in the first clue. You wouldn't,
Yeah.
but at least if you scribble it down, you think, hold on a minute, it's someone born in 19. You know, giving you an idea at the start. It's somebody born in 1957. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We're going back
So,
to
back to Newport.
Wembley. So you finished at Wembley. Martin Doodlebugs has retired. Yeah.
Martin Doodlebugs. Yeah,
What's his
he's
name?
retired.
Martin. What's his name?
Chance,
Go on, mate.
Gary Chance and Gary Flynn have both left Newport to go to Leighton Town.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Two things. It'll be very interesting
I'm
to
scribbling
see.
this down now.
Okay, you scribble away. Interesting to see if they take any players with them.
Yeah.
That will be very, very interesting. And also, who's Newport going to bring in to replace them?
Well, I don't know, Vera. I've no idea. I don't know much about. I don't know much about that sort of football.
Well, I mean, I've got a few names rattling around my head, but I'm not going to mention them.
You've got things rattling around your head.
Yes. Names, they're kind of like rattling in there with that brain cell of mine, causing mayhem.
Right, you have to forgive me a moment. I'm just watching the end of this race. Bear with me a moment, because
Is this your bet?
well, that thing's fallen off. I just want to see. Right, okay. So, I think this is quite good news here. So, I'm midway, fifth race at Windsor, and I did a little place pot for pennies. And the last race is an absolute corking result. There's hardly any money left out of 114 grand, so I'm squeezing in the last. Might win a few quid. Don't need that.
How
Pay
much
for
did
the-
you win?
No, I haven't won anything yet, and we've got one race to go on the place pot.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm just waiting for it to come up, but I'm pretty sure the three places where it hasn't come up yet, but it will do. So I'm pretty sure I've got there. But number 9 beat 14. I think number 7's in third, and I had number 7. So I might have a little squeeze there for the money. Hope so.
Okay.
Anyway,
Cool.
we just had a message about the footy.
Yes.
What did you want to ask, Finn? What did you want to ask, mate?
Who, me?
No, Finn. He just sent a message. So I'm just saying to him, what's your question? Have you got a question about refereeing? Have you got a question about football? What's your question? You can ask. Just type it away. We can read it. So
Do you
let
have
me
a
know.
question,
If it's a
Finn?
question about refereeing, you know, feel free to ask.
Or a
If it's a
comment?
question, yeah, I don't mind. I'm quite happy to.
Oh,
I heard the word Newcastle. What would you like me to tell you about Newcastle? It's a city in the north-east of England.
well, they're playing tonight against Leicester.
They speak like this. Way hey, Munley.
That
It's
is
a
an
great
awful.
No, it's not. That's how they speak up there. I promise you.
That is an awful
Yeah,
accent.
I am a referee. Yes. The Geordies have got a fantastic stadium. It's one of the few that's got absolutely huge on 3 sides, but the other side they can't because there's a railway line underneath it, and they can't build any bigger in case
Yeah.
the weight of the stand pulls the rest of the ground down. And frankly, that's the issue with it. So that's the answer to that one. Yes, I am. No way, that's amazing. Yeah, well, 12 years I've been refereeing up here where I live now. 14 years in total, and next season's my 15th, which means I will get some award at the end of the season for being an old fart, which is basic way of saying I'm old. So my
Had to be
target,
done.
yeah, my target's to try and do another 82 games. So I'm stuck on 418 at the moment, and fingers crossed, I get to 500. That's always been my ambition. I do about 30 a season because obviously I do have to work as well sometimes, and there's other things like injuries which I've just had 6 weeks of. But if I get somewhere near 450 by the end of next year, 2 more years, so I will be 63, 64, and I think that's probably about it for Premier Division football where I live, not Premier League, which is what you're talking about with Newcastle. We're playing Leicester tonight, and I hope that Newcastle win and Leicester go
Me
down
too.
because I dislike Leicester because of the way the club's been run. Joke winners of the Premier League, the biggest joke going. Um, so, uh, yeah, you might guess I support Spurs because I've got a big cock behind me, yeah? Two big cocks, actually, if you look at them. One in the middle of the 81 shirt that's signed by the players, and one in the 84 shirt for the European Europa League. It's called the UEFA Cup in those days. Um, you can probably make out there's a massive signature at the bottom on the Holston one, which is Osvaldo Ardiles, uh, who I'm seeing next fortnight. No, I'm not. I'm seeing him next week, Friday week. So looking forward to seeing him as always. I played golf with him last year, so hopefully I get around with him this year as well because I like playing golf, as Tara knows, if I get a chance.
I do know. And Finn, I'm an Arsenal supporter. Don't say any more than that.
Wait a minute. Where's that thing on your board that goes wah, 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 or bottom?
Sure, don't be mean. I was brought up in North London, so I've always used to go to Highbury and watch Arsenal playing at the weekend. So yeah, an Arsenal and a Tottenham fan here.
Who does Finn support?
Yeah. Oh, Newcastle. Didn't he just say Newcastle?
No, it's that long. Del, I've got to tell you, mate. I, the pictures on the side are in colour, just so as you know, Del. Del's a very good friend of mine, yeah. So I run a football competition, which I've done for years because it helps keep a lot of people my age group or a bit younger able to chat with each other and stuff like that. I will answer that, Phil. And
That's a
Del
good
helps
question,
me
that is.
immensely. Yeah,
That's
Del
a
helps
good
me immensely with running the competition, which we do. If I win any money, I stick it in the charity box, and I am going to win some money because, well, it's just the luck of the draw sometimes. So Del's really good at helping me out. He's going to be 61 on the 2nd of June. I know this 'cause I can remember these things.
You're not
There's
meant to
3 months between us.
say.
What, you're not supposed to say he's 61? Yeah, he doesn't care.
No.
When you get our age, we don't care.
All right, so
Phil, I'm going to answer
Phil
your question.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Who's going to be
your
the
bet?
Spurs manager? Yeah, that's a very good question. Arnie Slot looks like he's nailed on at the moment. If you don't know who he is the current manager, Feyenoord, who on a absolute shoestring of a budget have managed to win the Eredivisie in Holland. I think it's against the grain that he's won it. So Feyenoord haven't been really in the top 2 or 3 the last few years. It's invariably Ajax, PSV, but Feyenoord have won it. He plays what they call ultra attractive and attacking football, and I think it's fair to say, as Tottenham fans, I think if we went to Spurs and we lost 4-3, but the game was great, we'd rather watch that than the dross we've been watching for the last 2 years. And I don't mean it in a nasty way, but if you're a manager, yes, you want to win, and you don't care if you win 1-0. As a fan, it's great to be winning, but if you got enjoyment in the game that you're watching at the same time, that's what you want. That's what we had with Potts for a couple of years, and they didn't support him.
Who's going
So,
to Chelsea?
well, he's agreed, but he hasn't signed anything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And on Betfair, which I was about, he hasn't. He should be 101, which is 100 to 1 on. He's still 103, which doesn't mean he's not doing it. But the Chelsea job, I think next season's a poison chalice, and I'm not just saying that because Dell's a Chelsea fan. I think there's a big issue at Chelsea. Obviously, FFP's in next week. They're going to remove the 90% to make it 70. Chelsea have got no income other than the sales that they create, no European football, and it's a bit of a manky stadium if you're honest. I mean, it only holds about 42,000. So
And they've got a lot of players to get rid of.
and they've got 33 players in a changing room for 23, and they've also got to get rid of 10 players. If Poch goes there, I do hope, because I mean it sincerely. I want to see good football. If Chelsea had a top striker, a Kane or somebody of that kind of ilk, rather than all the people who can play up front but are not a central striker, I think Chelsea could have a decent side. I hope they don't lose Mason Mount because I think he's a good player. I think you need the homegrown players, and he is good. Do I think Chelsea need open heart surgery? Yeah, probably the same as Tottenham. I think most Chelsea and Tottenham fans are in agreement this year. I think we're both well below par, and it was made to look worse by the fact that Arsenal was so resurgent. Is there how much damage is Brentford losing Tony? Yeah.
Oh, that's massive.
That's another good question. I think Spurs should have signed him a couple of years ago when they had the opportunity to do it. Didn't. Wish they had done it. Incidentally, Tara, just so as you know, there's £419 and 19 pence left out of 114 grand hitting the last race at Windsor.
Okay.
Which means, bear with me a moment, because you know what I'm like. I like to tell you the heads up. So I'm giving you where we are. So the place pot at the moment is paying, this is a minimum. Money talks, by the way, of this show. He's paying 285 quid at the moment before the last race. And the last race, obviously, is going to chop it up. So
you'll keep us updated.
Yeah, I am. So if the first three get in there, 180, 280, then it pays about £400 if the first three in the betting get there.
Not bad.
So, no, yeah, but I might only get it for 16 pence. So I only get it for a sixth. That's all right.
Just going back to Finn's question about Ivan Toney, I've got to say, I know he pled guilty. There was a lot of charges against him, a lot.
Yeah, they're all on Betfair, so you can't deny them. They're there.
And he did plead guilty to a vast majority of them. But I mean, that's a hell of a ban he got. A heck of a ban.
Yeah, but they've got to get rid of it. You can't have it in football.
No.
And also, then that's another thing. So it correlates with refereeing. So I'm at level 5. If I have a bet at the football at the weekend, nobody says anything. If I was level 4 and I had a bet on the football, and bearing in mind level 4 is what you've got at Newport Pagnell, and I have a bet on Tottenham to win a game of football, which is unlikely at the moment, I can get done from refereeing because I've had a bet in something that the FA holds jurisdiction over because I'm level 4. And my argument is, well, how the hell have I affected the game between Spurs and, let's say, Crystal Palace? How would I have affected the game? I can't. Yeah. But in Ivan Toney's case, he could. He could have had a bet on a game in the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's the key thing. Now, I suppose it's crystal clear reason why you mustn't do it, because you can have an effect on it. You it's the same with the referees when they go to the World Cup. You'll never have an English referee England, or a Scottish referee. They don't really want to put a Scottish referee on an England game. They don't want a Spanish referee on a Portuguese match. So, they have to be very careful. If you look at the World Cup, you get two teams from South America, they get a European referee. Especially later on in the competition, you get two African teams playing. There's no way in the world they're going to have an African referee, even if one of the teams was, or both the sides. Let's say Tunisia in the north were playing Morocco, and you won't get a South African referee because even though it's the same continent, they would deem it that it might hold sway or that it could have had troubles or issues. So if the
Yeah.
referees can't do it at that level, the players can't do it. Ivan Toney's done it on. I mean, I heard he had a bet on Arsenal to win the league.
Well, I think this is my problem. I mean, 8 months is a hell of a ban. I mean, that's going to take him out for a lot
Till
of
January.
next season. Yeah,
Half the season.
half the season. He's got to
Yeah.
get back into match fitness. He has
No,
to,
but you can start that from September.
but still, that's what he can't train until September.
No,
so he
no,
can't.
no. Hold on a minute. The football season finishes next week for Brentford.
Yeah,
Right. Just by a miracle, they managed to squeeze into seventh place. Spurs lose, Villa lose, Brentford win. Not likely, but happens. Brentford finish seventh. They're now in Europe. They can't put him in their pot of 25 players for Europe because he's not eligible prior to Christmas. They can put him in from January, which is fair enough. So every single footballer who's playing Premier League football, their season pretty well finishes next week, with the exception of Man United, Man City. Okay? So Man United, Man City play the FA Cup final. Never mind who wins. If Man City win, they still got Champions League the week after. If they lose, they still got Champions League. Man United have an open bus tour and then they go on holiday. All those guys are on holiday all of June. Every single player is away in June. If they've got a football, their clubs have got a tour for a week, then they go on the tour anyway. Tony can't go on the tour if Brentford even had a tour, which I probably haven't got. So when would he start training normally? July. Do you think that he's not going to train in July, August, while all his mates are training? He can't train officially at Brentford, but he can train on his own. So what's he likely to do? He's likely to go running, isn't he?
yeah.
So if he runs, even if he just runs 3-4 times a week just to keep the cobwebs off before he goes back to full-time training in September, the thing he's going to be lacking is match fitness. It's the sharpness that you need in front of goal. That's the reason why Kane is the best striker in the Premier League. He scores with his left foot, his right foot and his head. If you look at Haaland, he doesn't score goals from outside the penalty area, Haaland. A lot of his goals are within the sort of 6-yard box, yeah?
Yeah,
He scores a few between the edge of the penalty area and the 6-yard box, but you wouldn't see him take a free kick. To be fair to Kane, he doesn't normally take a free kick, but he does take a lot of shots from outside the box. Haaland doesn't, because the midfielders at Man City are a lot better and they know how to pass the ball between the defenders to the attacker that's running onto it. And Haaland, of course, is very young and very fast, much faster than Kane. So, two different types of striker. You can't argue that Haaland's had an unbelievable season, but to be honest with you, any half-decent striker playing for Man City should score 30-odd goals a year. Kane's playing in a crap team and he's managed 30 goals this year. So,
Do you not think that it's going to really have an impact on Tony's? I mean, he's going to be up.
Mental.
His contract is up soon, isn't it, at Brentford? If he's
Yeah,
not
but they've
match
already
fit,
agreed to extend it.
Who's extended it?
Brentford have agreed to extend it.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if he goes on the market and he's not match fit and he hasn't really played, people are not going to be.
No, but you wouldn't buy Ivan Toney. You wouldn't, if you wanted to buy Ivan Toney and you said to Brentford, "We'll give you 30 million for Toney in August." So you'll know that they all have to do a medical, yeah.
Yeah.
So the medical's two medicals. It's a medical for ones that you do for the fitness and that sort of stuff, and another one is to do with your bones and joints and that sort of stuff. you don't really have an issue if you're not if you're playing, because your records are on the record. They're open market records. Every club could see your records if they asked for them. No doctor at Brentford is going to turn around and say, "Oh, Ivan Toney's 100% because he's never had an injury." And then the guy says at Tottenham, "Hold on a minute, we bring him in here. His legs falling to bits. His bones shattered in his knee. What are you talking about?" You couldn't do that. You wouldn't do it. It's unprofessional. You couldn't do it, and I know they wouldn't. But theoretically, if you wanted to buy Tony, what's he going to be worth is a lot less than he would be worth if he was 100% fit scoring goals. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
But Brentford can't afford to let him go.
Mm.
You know, what
He's a
people
massive
forget
player
is,
for them.
yeah, but you look at you have to look at the clubs as well. What can Brentford afford? You know, then unless they miraculously get into Europe, they're going to get 110 million at the beginning of July from Sky. 110 million. 70% this year FPP. So they can only spend 77 million on
A striker.
transfers from that money. And if they sell somebody or sell two players for 50 million, then they can spend 35 of that money plus the 77 from the income. They can only spend 100 odd million. Sounds like 100 odd million is like peanuts. But in today's football, that is peanuts. That's two players, two top quality players. That's what it is. Chelsea spent 107 million or something on one player over on an 8-year contract, which is another joke. Yeah. You know, what if the guy breaks his leg in a very freak accident? Don't say it doesn't happen. Chelsea had a player I really loved called Pierre. He had called Kazaragi. That was he was a striker for Chelsea,
I remember
and he
him.
ruptured his knee ligaments, I think, in a game. And I believe he still owes Chelsea the money. I think Dell will probably update on that if he's still listening. But he was a good striker, but his career finished on that tackle. So if you're worth 110 million on the open market today, a bad challenge, and you're worth 2 bags of frozen peas. You know,
Literally.
no, but the other day, Cardiff City were ordered to pay. There was a young boy they bought from France who was killed in a plane crash on the way, Salah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was tragic, absolutely tragic. And they've been told they've got to pay the 15 million because he was contracted to them. And even though he never played for them, that's not the selling club's fault. The fact that the pilot was drunk or whatever wasn't supposed to be flying that plane, that's a different story.
I know
Tragic.
it's a hard one. I mean, yeah, he did wrong, Ivan Toney. He obviously he needs to be punished for it, and I know the FA are really clamping down on it. But 8 months seems excessive.
Well, it is 8 months, but 2 months of that is suspended, really, isn't it? They're not really doing anything in June and July.
No, but like
So
you say, he couldn't
effectively,
go on tour. He couldn't if
yes, I know, but they are allowing Ivan Toney to train and get fit. And to be fair, he can still play for the reserves when I think he can play for the reserves. He can't play in the first team. So
I'm sure he can
fitness
play
was
for the
6 weeks.
reserves.
Well, the shirt behind me, or both of them, they belong to the early 80s. When those players were injured, proper injuries in those days, they would come back and play in the reserves for 2 or 3 weeks to help build their match fitness up. And they didn't look upon it as, oh God, I'm in the reserves. They thought, this is my way of getting back in the first team.
Yeah, but if he's
You know,
banned, Tony, how can he play for the
I think
reserve?
he's banned from playing Premier League football. I don't believe he's banned from playing for Brentford. So I think you have to
Okay.
check. I think you have to check the small print. He'll be banned from touring, I imagine. I don't imagine he'll be banned from playing in a friendly. So I think
Hmm.
you. I think there's a little bit of hit and miss on this. Right, we're off at Windsor in the 19th, the last race on the place pot. I
Okay.
just want to give you another part of my who am I.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you two bits of this because we run out of a little bit of time here. So we've already got. I'm a man born in 1957. I was born in the USA, and I'm not Bruce Springsteen. Before I get some daft comment, right? And The next bit. I was famous for my style of clothing.
Oh.
Is that giving you something to think about?
Um, style of clothing. Okay. Oh. Yeah, it's giving me something to think about.
So I think a lot of people are going to be struggling on this one because I made it quite. I think the Johan Cruyff one was quite easy the other day.
Oh my word. It was
Huh?
not. It wasn't until the last clue.
I don't think it was that hard. I don't think it was that hard, but
Phil,
I'm doing the
if you're
question.
still listening in, you're normally good at these guesses. Who is it, Phil?
Yeah, this one's not so easy. So because the thing is, it's not easy because it could be a lot of people at the moment, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be a lot of people shortly, if that makes any sense. Because the next couple of clues will make it a bit easier.
Hmm.
Not saying that you'll get it,
Which I
but
probably
you might.
won't.
No. So we got 2 furlongs out of Kempton. The favourites in front, unfortunately. Um, however, I've got a squeeze. I don't know yet. I've got a squeeze of getting in the frame here. Favourite's going to win. I need one of my ones running on here. So come on, Noble, run on, son. I'm going to get a squeeze in the frame.
Have you done it?
Oh, yes. Well, yes, I got there.
What did he
Yeah.
come? What did
So,
he place? Third.
yeah, he did get. Well, Georgia was riding it. So one, I think 1, 2, and I'm not sure what 5 was third. I'm just having a look. 2 was the winner. That looks like number 7. Yeah, I can't tell. It looks like 7. 2, 7, and 1, 2, and 7. Yeah, 1, 2, and 7. That's what I thought, but
Oh, you
I'll
did
have
all
to wait
right
and see if
then.
I nosed it up. Huh?
You did okay.
Well, yeah. 82, 182, and 200. Well, yeah, it's probably paid about 560 quid. So I've got some money coming back. Not a lot, but
Well,
it's a
it's
few
better than
quid for.
nothing, and it's better than a
Yeah,
loss.
absolutely, absolutely. So going back to your question about Tony, I do think it's a massive issue. 8 months. Why do you think they're giving him 8 months?
To make an example out of him, and because of the amount of betting he
Volume,
did. Yeah,
yeah, volume,
yeah.
absolutely. But if you think about it, the other day Mitrovic got an 8-match ban for pushing the referee.
I know. That's where it all just seems a bit. It doesn't seem very
Well,
balanced.
he put his hand on the ref. He didn't really push him very much.
But still,
So
that to me is worse than what Ivan Tony did. Ivan Tony
yeah, but
deserved to get
Ivan
banned.
Tony's. But wait a minute. You see, this is where I disagree with you. Now, the thing is, every professional footballer knows that he's in breach of contract rules with the FA if he has a bet.
Mm.
Even if he has a bet on the tennis. So, which has got nothing to do with the football. So,
I know. It still just seems excessive. You've got all these players,
well,
like you said, Mitrovic, that can do all
so
sorts of
but
things,
the
and they're
thing
going to
is,
get
you
anywhere
see,
near
you
that.
don't expect a referee to get assaulted, and I wouldn't really call it assault. I'm old school. Someone comes up to me and goes, I go, "Oi, you all right in the head?" But then if I say that nowadays, someone will go, "Hold on a
You're in
minute, he's saying
trouble.
I'm rude, Pete." You know. So, but
So
I
let's
mean,
put
I'm
it out
six
to the
four and a
people
half. Most
listening.
people don't want to have a row with me anyway, which is
Let's
kind
put it
of a
out to
good
the
thing.
people listening. If you think that Ivan Tony's ban was excessive, message us and let us know. Because I do. Steve's quite okay with it. He seems quite all right with that 8-month ban. But I
Well, I
think
think he would have got 6 anyway, if I'm honest with you.
what, 6 months?
So yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Because
thought
of
he
the
was.
volume.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought he was going to get. six
Because of
months.
the volume.
Yeah, I thought he would be banned from the beginning. To be honest with you, I thought he was going to get banned about 6 weeks ago. So I thought he was going to get banned 1st of April. I thought they'd ban him April, May, June, July, August, September,
Mm.
and he could start again in October. And to be honest with you, go training anyway. You're training anyway up until the no, Gaz, I am not Telly Savalas. Uh,
What's that about?
he's another friend of mine, right? He lives up. He's up near you, actually.
Is he?
Yeah, there's some Carsey called Milton Keynes. He lives up there. Yeah.
Hey, hey, you.
um,
You're right up here in MK, mate.
yeah, Gareth MK. Don't ask him to spell Schalke, but that's another story. No, it's difficult because I think that I did think he was going to be banned 6, 7 weeks ago. I mean, he already admitted it in what, end of February, early March.
Yeah, he pled guilty to a lot of it.
So why is it taking so long to sentence? I mean, if they'd have done him straight away, he'd have been back playing about the middle of September. I don't think it'd have made a massive difference.
So then
If
you
I'm
have
totally
to
honest.
question yourself: is that the FA's fault because
I think they're trying to act whiter than white at the moment. They're trying to get quite hard on a lot of things. You know,
Yeah.
they're clamping down. They're clamping down on all betting. They're clamping down on various different misdemeanors. I mean, Klopp makes me laugh. He's having a go at Paul Tierney again, and says to him, "Well, have you got a problem with me?" Gets a 2-match ban. One of them suspended. I don't get that. Certain things don't quite add up. The FAB and the FA. Well, yeah, Bruno Fernandes again. I agree with that one on Bruno with you, Finn. I think the Mitrovic one, when I look at it in retrospect, thinking about what Paolo Di Canio did, can you remember that?
Yes.
So he pushed. This was when he was at Sheffield Wednesday. He pushed the referee. To be fair, the referee stumbled as much as the push, and the push was made to look a lot worse than it was. But in retrospect, he got 12 matches, I think, to Canio for that. So did Mitrovic push the referee like Paolo Di Canio didn't? He didn't.
Yeah.
He certainly didn't do it like that.
Di Canio, I don't disagree with that because that's an assault. That was an assault.
Well, there's where we have a disagreement. I don't think that's assault, in my opinion. He just pushed him and he lost his balance. There's a difference, yeah?
Yeah, but he pushed him. That's the problem. And that is an assault in the eyes of the
No,
law.
well, I know, but again, we're going back to what I look at and look at the puffs we live in society today. You know, for me, you go like that, and I don't think that's a push. When you're playing football, you put 2 hands on the back of somebody and push him. That's a push. Like that, that's not really a push. You look at players when they get cautioned. They go like this to a player. That's not that. That's threatening. It's a yellow card. Put your hands here though. It's a red card. So there's a line drawn here. 2 hands on somebody's a push. 1 hand's a bit of a shove. There's a difference. I think the shove that he did to Canio caught the referee off guard, fell over, made it look a hell of a lot worse, losing his balance. Mitrovic was aggressive. There's an adopting aggressive attitude. The attitude that Mitrovic took was adopting. That counts as a yellow card. If he then gives him verbals where he's saying, that's another yellow card. If he's doing it and he continues to do it, now he's overgone the boundary for the second yellow, it becomes a straight red. So he's got a yellow and a straight red. Therefore, that's what's gone in the report. So his ban was 3 games, then it became 6, but he carried it on and got an 8. So I think that's right. I think Di Canio's was quite harsh, but at the time, it was regarded as sort of acceptable. I think it was harsh then, if I'm honest. But then I'm 6'4". If you push me, more than likely you're getting thumped. So that I don't mean it in a rude way. When I referee, many a time I've got in between the people who are about to have a row. I'm not supposed to, but I've just sort of gone like that, and they tend to go out of the way, and it stops it more than anything else. But if they've already started and they did, they're having a good old punch up, I let them go on with it. So, I try and prevent it because I believe prevention's better than cure.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't. Gareth's explaining to you, Tara, that he lives in the posh end of MK. So is that Bletchley then?
Definitely not.
I don't know. Is there a posh end of Milton Keynes?
I'm in a very nice area in MK.
Yeah, but is there a nice area?
Very, very nice.
Where's that then? Where are the nice areas in Milton Keynes?
Shh, I can't make it public because I don't want people.
No. But I'm asking you. You don't have to tell everyone where you live.
Oh, okay.
Right,
So there's some very nice areas in Milton Keynes, yes.
Such as
Willen.
Willen.
Yeah, you know where the lake is, and you've got Willen.
Yeah. That's where Milton Keynes train. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Bolbeck Park, Downhead Park, all that kind of northern part is quite nice. Was it northeastish kind of?
Northeast Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Is it called Milton Keynes still?
Yes, it is. It is. Just before you get to Newport, that's all that kind of area is quite nice. Some people say the Shenleys over the west side of MK. It's not my.
Just to interrupt you, the place pot paid £551.60p.
Yay! Well done, you.
I didn't get it for £1.
So there are some nice ends, some nice parts. There are some not very nice parts.
Okay. And next question I got before you carry on about telling us how wonderful MK is.
Oh, Finn's, look, he's saying there's nice places, not posh places.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything posh in MK, Finn, either. Tara might be a bit posh, but I don't think anything else in MK is.
I ain't posh, mate. I ain't posh.
Going back to our sports person, who am I?
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, some people are going to be trying to look this up now. So, I'm an American born in 1957.
Yeah.
I was quite famous for my style of clothing. When I died, I was third on the all-time money list.
What's the all-time money list? Like the rich people's list?
Sports, obviously. It's a sports person, yeah?
Yeah, obviously. So Finn said we have a great stage in MK, which we do for League Two.
And a crap football team.
For League Two, we have a fantastic stadium.
Yeah, and a crap football team. We have a great stadium at Tottenham Hotspur. And we've also got a crap football team.
28th biggest stadium in England. There you go.
Right, so in the Premier League, so MK holds, I think, 33,000. Is that right?
Something like that.
So
is that with all three tiers?
Yeah, that's full up.
Okay.
So I believe in the Premier League, apart from Bournemouth and probably Crystal Palace, all the rest hold over that, because Fulham now have got the third tier lifted on their side, which is the bit that goes over the Thames now. So I think I'm right in saying that 18 in the Prem do. You've got Sheffield United coming up with Burnley, and I don't think either Bramall Lane. Bramall Lane might be, but Burnley doesn't for sure. If Luton come up, they only hold 10,300. It's the only stadium in the country where you go in between houses. You go in someone's house to get into the stadium. Did you know that?
You go through their garden or something, don't you?
The two houses, the house that's missing, if you like, are the turnstiles. You walk through the door, go up the stairs over their garden to go into the ground. Yeah, you do. Yeah. I've done that once.
Good old Luton.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come up, but so those seven. But there are teams outside in League One and in the Championship that have got more than 33,000. Hillsborough definitely. Blimey, your son doesn't sound very well, Tara.
It's my cookie.
But if anyone didn't think it was live, your dog's just barked.
What
Do you
do
want
they
another
say?
clue on
Don't
who
ever
am
work
I?
with animals and children. There you go.
No. You don't want to do that. Do you want another clue on who am I, by the way? Would you like another clue?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm an American born in 1957. Yeah? I was
Yep.
famous for my style of clothing. When I died, I was third on the all-time money list. In my career, I won 3 majors.
Okay, so it's got, what's that, a golfer then?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, just checking.
yeah. Any idea now?
Not born in 1957.
Well, it's only about 6 weeks before you. How do you not know that? No, we know when you were born. It was not more like 1987.
Um,
Um,
I don't know any golfers that kind of age.
okay, so
How old is Ballesteros? He's not that old, is he?
well, he's been dead about. Sevi died years ago. He's
Did he?
54 when he died.
Oh, bless him.
Do you not know he was dead?
No, I
Really?
don't follow golf. I don't like golf. So he
Okay. So
wasn't good for him
this
then,
guy's
no?
first name was William, but nobody called him by his first name.
Okay.
Did that help?
No, not at all.
No?
Um,
Because we're nearly at 8 o'clock, so I've got to go to the next clue then.
is it like? Did they call him Bill then, or Billy, or
No, no,
Willie,
no.
or no?
No. No one used his first name at all.
Oh, they just called him by his surname.
No.
No. Oh, sugar. Um,
No.
no, I haven't got
Right.
a clue.
So he died in a plane crash, aged 42.
Okay.
So you see, if you're putting the clues together, then you've got to think, right, well, how old's that? And, okay, yeah, right. And then try and think about who was around at the time. I plucked it out this evening. It's been on my mind last time. I think it's a good quiz one.
Mm,
But you're
no,
stumped, aren't you?
I'm.
And I don't think Finn, who has been watching intently, knows. And if Gareth or Dell are there, they probably don't know him. And the dogs just answered incorrectly as well.
They want to go play. They want to play fetch.
Fetch.
Now is not the time, Cuckoo. Now is not the time. No.
So for live broadcasting, I've got to tell you, your dogs have obviously got more interesting than I am.
Oh my gosh, they brought all the toys into the study. They
Yeah.
want to play. Oh,
Well,
don't you just love animals? Don't you just love them?
yeah, I'd like a tiger so he can chase all the dogs, but that's another story. Um, we hold more than Brighton. Oh, never mind the blooming football. Do you know who am I is, Finn? Any idea who that is? Yeah.
I
Hopefully,
kind of get the feeling that Finn is a youngster,
Yeah, he won't know.
so
Won't
he
know.
may not
The
know.
answer. So I'm going to give you. Who it is because you didn't get it. Yeah. So
Okay.
round of applause for beating you this week.
Okay.
But the golfer,
Yeah.
incredibly famous person, was Payne Stewart. And you
Never
don't know
heard
who
of
he
him.
is.
No. You get your round of applause. Well done.
So Payne was a brilliant player, and sadly, he was flying back to his home on a private jet, and they passed out, and they all got hypoxia on the plane. And when the plane ran out of fuel, it just crashed, obviously, in the middle of nowhere in America. And
Oh, that's awful.
sadly, he was killed, and it was just before they were due to play the next golf tournament. He was a lot of the Americans in those days. No, you wouldn't if you're doing your GCSEs. Crikey, you were born about 2007. Um, he was one of those Americans who genuinely was really appreciated by every golfer from everywhere. So it
Okay.
wasn't just the Americans. The Europeans really liked him because he was really well behaved. If you look him up on your Google and put Payne in Payne and look at Payne Stewart, he had the most fantastic clothing. He used to wear knickerbockers and +4s and +2s. And he was the only golfer, and he always did it. He always wore it. And even when they played in the Ryder Cup, he still had his own stuff made for him.
Yeah.
So he
Wow.
was a real traditionalist. The Europeans really liked him and respected him because he was a very good player, but he was a genuine man as well. And I think they don't always get that. That's not always the case. But in this particular case, yeah. So there you go. You learnt something new every day.
Do. There you go.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard of him. So,
So the next half of the show, for your benefit, Finn, because you're probably the only one still listening, we've got a what year is it? So you might have more chance on that because I don't know what you're doing for GCSEs, but if you're doing history or music, you may have an idea which year we're in. Tara likes to have a guess at about 17 different years before she settles with an answer. So
well,
I'm just giving you a heads up. Yeah. So
it's like,
this time, Sarah, I've chosen a year when you were actually alive.
oh, nice, nice. That's helpful.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the
Okay.
first clue for
Yep.
what year is it?
Yep.
The Pentium processor was introduced.
Ooh, that's got to be in the 70s, isn't it? 70s?
Well, you're born in the 60s, so it's after you were born, isn't it?
I was not born in the 60s, you.
The 1860s, I told you that. Look. This is after you're born, right? This is after you're born.
Okay,
We
okay.
both know how old you are.
Yes.
58, right? So, so it's after you were born.
Okay, so Finn might know this because he's doing history.
Yeah, but you can't look it up. So
Yeah,
you'll
no
spoil it if
cheating.
you'll spoil it if you look it up. You have to know or you wait.
Yeah, no
So
cheating.
so the Pentium processor was introduced,
Yeah.
and that's the first clue I'm giving you for this. I'm going to give you one more clue because there's a lot of clues for this one. So think carefully, yeah.
Mhm.
Russia and the US signed the START II treaty. So if you can't remember what START stands for, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty.
Okay, so now I'm kind of thinking late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, but again, you've only had two clues so far, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, if somebody, not saying my age group, but somebody my age group might start thinking and putting two and two together here.
Mm,
So somebody your age group is not getting two and two yet. They'll probably get one and one at the minute.
okay.
Someone Finn's age group, if he's studying history and it's recent history, so I don't know if he's done European history or depends on what he's doing for history. May be a bit baffled at the moment.
If it's GCSEs, I imagine it's quite general history, isn't it?
I don't know. I did history. Of course, it wasn't called GCSE because they lowered the standard of education when they made it GCSE from O level because O level was considered a higher level and CSE was for the, how can I put it politely?
The lesser able.
Yeah, the dopey ones. So they made it GCSE so that everyone became dopey. They lowered the O level and didn't raise the level of the CSE. So effectively, what they did was they made all the coursework count as well. If that would have been the case, I'd have had blooming A star and everything. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I've never. The joke of it is, you go to school to do all these subjects, and to be honest with you, apart from the 3 that you do at A level, the rest of it is pretty well a waste of time. I'm not being rude. You go for a job. How many O levels you got? Oh, I've got 9. How many have you got? 6. Does it make a difference?
No.
Good answer, mate. Good answer.
Well said, Finn. Well
I like
said.
that. That's good. That's good. I like that. he's got his head screwed on, right, hasn't he?
So listen, I was remembering back to one of Finn's earlier posts, and he said that he wanted to get into sports punditry.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because that's what I do.
Do you? I thought you commentated. No. I'm being serious. You're commentating.
Yes.
Punditry's when they go on the telly and tell you about what they should have done. You're telling everybody what they have done.
Well, yeah, but we do a bit of punditry as well.
Oh, do you?
Match.
All right. I don't know. I'm not having a dig. I was being genuine.
Yeah. So we do.
Just
do
for
a
that,
bit
I'm going to
of
have a
that.
sweet. Huh? I'm going to have a squashy. This is rhubarb and custard. I can't stand rhubarb. Well, rhubarb pie's all right with ice cream. I can't stand custard.
Oh,
Anyway.
it's lovely.
Mm.
Right, while you're chewing and chomping, because it's not really good manners to, talk and eat at the same time, I'll go through the NBA playoffs.
Oh, yeah, we need to know about that.
Yes, yeah. So Miami Heat, yay, go Heat. They take a 3. What? What you laughing at? He's laughing at me. Why are you laughing at me?
Go Heat.
That's what they are. Miami Heat. They take a 3-0 lead over the Celtics, Boston Celtics.
Right.
It probably was my son that you spoke to. He works for Soccer Assist, Finn, so it probably was my son.
It certainly wasn't mine.
No, it definitely wasn't yours.
Because if it was, I'm not owning up to it because,
Yeah, so the Heat are winning 3-0 in the series against the Celtics. We're very, very happy about that.
All you got to do is, instead of telling me that, because I haven't paid any attention to it, right? Is give me the name of the place, and I will give you their. So, for example, if you say it's Miami, I'd have said it was Heat. If you say it's Boston, I'll say it's Celtics.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because I have to have a go at this now, because that's a bit of a quiz for me then.
All right, next one in the Western Conference Finals, Denver.
Nuggets.
Oh, yes. Well done. Yeah. And they were playing the Los Angeles.
Oh, well, that... oh, God, that's the thing.
Go on. LA.
Hold on a minute. Los Angeles has got a lot of things. So they've got the Rams, and they've got the Dodgers, and they've got the Kings. Is it Kings? No, that might be Sacramento now. I don't know. Lakers.
Yay! Well done.
No, it's not so easy. I've got to think. Well, I have to pull all this stuff out, you know.
So the Denver Nuggets are leading the Lakers 3-0 as well.
Oh, blimey. Okay.
Yeah. So that's massive.
By the way, I had a tip for a horse today, just to let you know. Sorry, we are interrupting. And it's called Brave Knight, and it's running in this race at Windsor, which I've got on at the moment. And he struck the front, but I don't know if he's going to win it. He might get in front now. Oh, he's going well now. Go on, my son.
Oh, so Finn likes basketball.
Chicken dinner.
Did you win some more money?
Sorry, if he gets up, I have. Go on, yes, he has. Yes. I've had £25 on the 3-1 he won.
Oh, well
Yeah.
done.
That's a
So
good one.
Finn likes basketball. Doesn't watch much of the American basketball because of the time difference, and that's understandable.
It's on Sky Sports. If he hasn't got Sky Sports, he can't watch it.
Well, he
Going
yeah.
back a step, are there any more matches that you're on about in this American
No, that's
thing?
it. It's because
Oh, just two
there's
games.
there's the Eastern Finals and
Oh,
the
go on then.
Western Finals.
Who's in the Eastern Finals?
Oh, for Pete's sake, do I have to go through it again?
Oh, that was the beginning. But you said it was Miami. They're blooming west. Southwest, southeast. Well, they're south.
No. Okay, so in the Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets are beating the
Denver.
Lakers 3-0.
Yeah, well, that's Los Angeles, and Denver's sort of mountains.
Okay, and in the Eastern Finals, Miami are leading the Celtics, Boston Celtics.
Right, well, I know Boston's on the east. Miami's blooming in the south.
Southeast. But they don't do a north and south. It's only east and west.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Pacific as well, but don't start that one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that looks like we know who's going to be in the final then, yeah?
It could
be LA against Miami.
The Heat against the Nuggets, which will be an interesting one. And if Finn likes the basketball, then next season he needs to get down and go and see the Milton Keynes Breakers basketball team. They play at Bletchley Leisure Centre. Awesome team, absolutely awesome. I commentate on their games as well, so.
Yes, you do. You commentate on them a lot, don't you?
I do commentate on them a lot. I do. Yeah, so you need to go and see the basketball. We have our very own basketball team here in MK. So yeah.
Are they in the posh bit of MK?
No. No, they're not. Just give me one sec.
For those of you watching in black and white, Tara's disappeared. She's in the pink.
Sorry.
Are you wearing an oofy or something?
A whaty?
What do they call it? Oofy or something?
Say hello to Finn.
Hi, Finn. Where's Finn?
So Finn, bless him, has said that he thinks he met you. You came to the school?
What's second name? Or what school?
I don't know. He hasn't actually said, bless him.
What,
He's doing his GCSEs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So I went into 2 or 3 schools. Did the 2 Walton Highs, did Hayes, Oak Grove, Ousdale, sorry.
There you go. So it is you. This guy.
Oh, so he knows me. I want to know what Finn this is.
So I'm not sure. So Finn likes punditry.
Oh, this would have been the student I'd met that I gave his number on. Do you remember?
Oh, what? I spoke to his dad.
I assume so. Yeah.
Did I speak to your dad, Finn? I might have spoken to your dad about it.
Who's
Who's that? Shark fin or dolphin? That joke went straight over your head.
No, that's fair enough. I may have spoken to your dad, Finn, about doing some commentating with me for next season. So speak to your dad, tell him to get in touch with me if he's still got my number, and we can sort something out for next season.
Finn is, fun fact, the only person I've met at a careers fair who was walking around with a football book. I'm pretty sure it was a commentary book. Was it like a Gary Neville book or something like that? Correct me if I'm wrong, Finn. But I remember you had that, and it was I was impressed.
There you go.
Very good knowledge. Very good lad.
So he does love his sports, Finn. We can account to that, can't we?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mika Richards.
I wish your mother loved her sports.
Mika Richards. Nearly there. I was 90% correct. 90% correct. Yeah, we need to get Finn on the
Micah Richards is a funny bloke, isn't he?
He is class.
He's a good comment. He's a
cool
good. What do they call him? Punditer.
Pundit.
Pundit. He's a good pundit.
The best ones are behind the scenes. They always post, like CBS post behind the scenes stuff of him and the others messing about. They have a good laugh, don't they?
Yeah, he's funny. I like him. I like him when he does the one on BBC with the match that they had to pick the dirtiest players in the Premier League history. that was funny at the weekend. That was funny. Still 0-0. Newcastle, Leicester still 0-0. This is a Leicester team that's let a goal in every game this year.
That's going to be interesting.
I have a steak waiting for me, so I'm gonna have to love you and leave you all.
A
See you later.
steak?
See you later, Finn.
Why, are you, hold on, you mean one of those steaks that you, like,
Never that. Never that.
or if it's your mother and she's done it, she's burnt it. You know, that one guest that's watching, he's thinking to himself, we're on a cookery show here now.
Oh, your wife will tune in then.
No, she's downstairs. She'll probably be watching, she'll probably be watching a food programme.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Josh
No.
is hoping to get back to playing by Christmas. He's doing very well for an.
You mean football?
Yeah, yeah. So his
He might get
physio,
a job at Milton Keynes. I think they need a few players.
his physio's like got him doing runs now and turns and stuff like that. So yeah, he's all kind of on track
He's
for
getting
Christmas
there.
time.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which is
So
really
he's a
good.
bit like Ivan Toney, but without the band.
Yeah, he got a medical ban, unfortunately. And it was a
Right,
bit longer than the 8 months.
Yeah. Going back to what year is it?
Oh, yes.
So, Islamic fundamentalists bomb the World Trade Center.
Oh,
Now we're going to change the year again.
yes, September the 11th. What year was it?
No.
Oh my God, we were still living in Healands. I'm gonna say. Oh. Are there more clues to come?
Mm.
Okay. I reserve my guess.
Okay. So, you're getting very muddled up with something else. You must listen to the clues, Tara.
The World Trade Center.
Yeah.
That was September the 11th, whatever year it was.
That wasn't the World Trade Center.
What do you mean it wasn't the World Trade Center?
What was it?
It was.
Was it?
Yeah,
The Twin Towers was the
Twin
World Trade Center,
Towers.
was it?
Yeah. Did you put something wrong?
No.
Have you put a wrong clue? Are you trying to confuse me?
No, you're getting muddled up. That's what I said. You're thinking about 9/11,
Yeah.
but you're not thinking about the clues I've given you. What was the first clue?
The computer thing.
Right. So the computer thing can't have been the same at 9/11, can it?
Well, what do you mean they bombed the World Trade Center? Now I'm confused.
Are you confused.com?
Yes.
Well, when was 9/11?
2001?
Right. So you're telling me that the Pentium processor was introduced in 2001?
No, that's like way back in the 70s. That's got to be like way back there. See, even Finn says 9/11.
No. You're not
Oh.
listening to all the clues. This is all in the same year.
Oh.
So Russia and the US signed the START II treaty. Russia and the US signed the START II treaty in the same year that the Pentium processor was introduced. And
Okay.
that's the same year that the fundamentalists from Islamic Fundament bombed the World Trade Center. It cannot be 2001, can it?
So they bombed
It can't be
before
this
then, did
century.
they?
It can't be this century, can it? Meanwhile, so away from basketball, next
Yeah.
fortnight, well, 3 weeks' time. In fact, I'm going to Scotland in just under 3 weeks to play golf, and to come home. And when I come home, the first test is on for cricket. It's the Ashes this summer,
Okay.
which should be highly, highly entertaining. In fact, I would probably be as bold to say, provided the weather holds, which is what they're expecting, I reckon we may witness the greatest test series in cricket ever.
Okay. Why is that?
Because England will play the same as they've been playing for the last year, and Australia think they're the best team.
Yes, they do.
And England have lost a couple of their bowlers because, well, I don't want to be nasty, but I mean, what's his face has been Archer's been injured since the World Cup in 2019. He's hardly bowled a ball, bless him. He's 28 now, and he's permanently damaged. I
Right.
think I think his career's over. Ollie Robinson got injured yesterday, might miss the first test. England have got an attitude at cricket which I think is so refreshing. I think it
Mm.
will have people off their seats watching it with the entertainment. They may get bowled out for 200 because they're going mad batting. That's possible. But they may also score 450 in a day in cricket, in Test cricket, which is just unheard of in England anyway. It has actually happened before. Um, and in 2005, which I happened to see the best Test series of cricket I ever saw, was the second Test match at Edgbaston when England won. And overnight, Australia needed about 100 135, 140 to win with 2 wickets left, and it got down to 1 run. It was just the most amazing morning's cricket I ever saw in my life, and edge of the seat was astonishing. And that was matched this year when England played in New Zealand, and New Zealand won by 1 run. Although I have to say the umpire nosed it up because it was clear that it was a clear wide the ball before the wicket, but that's another
There's going
story.
to be an
But
interesting test series.
yeah, I think so, and I think that we're going to be witnessing something very special this summer. I think that's a general feeling for most people. Um, I think we're going to witness the most incredible turnaround in the football. Um, who's being bought, who's being sold, who's coming to the Premier League, who's not, who's going. I think there's going to be probably more ins and outs this year than ever before.
I
And
agree.
3 reasons. One, because of FFP
Hmm.
changing. Two, this year the Premier League, I think 14 managers got sacked. 14 different
Yeah.
clubs. That's astronomical. I mean, that really is
Hold on,
astronomical.
didn't we have two managers go from the same club this season?
Well, Leeds have changed their manager. Spurs, in fairness, have had different ones acting manager, but they have only had one manager.
I'm sure there was a club, I can't remember which club it was, a Premiership club that
Yeah,
had,
Leeds.
was it Leeds? Had two managers
Yeah, they
and
had.
sacked two this season.
Yeah, they have. Um, so it's crazy.
No, Finn's
Um,
saying Leeds, Spurs, and Southampton.
no, Spurs haven't. Well, Conte was the manager. Stellini was never the manager, and nor's Mason. Leeds have had 3 different managers. So have Southampton had 3 different managers.
That's crazy, isn't
But
it?
Spurs never. Mason's is an acting manager. It's not even caretaker.
Mm.
So was Stellini. So I understand what he's saying because there are 3 different people, but there is a difference. They were not officially managers, and officially and unofficially makes a big difference because that's in the history books of each of the football clubs that concern.
Yeah.
But
So just going back very, very quickly to Finn's last question, we cover any sports, so we'll talk about any sports.
the next sport we're talking about is snog-boggling.
What the heck? Oh my word!
There is a sport. All joking aside, there is a blooming sport. It's something like that. Was it called snog-bobbling or something?
What kind of sport was it? Describe the sport.
Oh, it's like you have to. I don't know. You have to. You have to get down on your hands and knees or something, and you crawls through this stuff. Is it called snog boggling or something? It is something like that. I can't look it up now.
You crawl through what?
I could something snog boggling or something. Honestly, I'm having a look. Is that what it is? No. I just can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up for next time we're on.
Okay.
I'm going
okay.
to put
Never
my light
heard
on
of
now.
it.
Throw a bit of light on the matter. And God said, "Let there be light."
You know, I covered on when I used to do the radio show. I covered Quidditch.
Bog snoggling. That's it.
Bog
Not snog
snoggling.
boggling. Bog snoggling. I think it's called bog snoggling. Hold on. Bog snorkeling. Sorry.
Snorkeling.
Bog snorkeling. Yes.
Oh, what? Like, as in a river or something?
Right. So yeah, this is called bog snorkeling. It's a sport, right?
Okay.
Bog snorkeling is a sporting event where competitors aim to complete 2 consecutive lengths of 60 yards water-filled trench cut through a peat bog in the shortest time possible, wearing traditional snorkel, diving mask and flippers. They complete the course. Flippers. They complete the course without swimming, relying on flipper power alone. It was first played in Llanwrtyd, Wales, Llanwrtyd Wells in Wales in 1976. You can have mixed sex doing it. Not hold on a minute, that doesn't sound right. So they've got leagues with mixed sex people in the league. Sorry, you're not having mixed sex whilst doing it, yeah? So mixed sex in the league, right? And that's typical Welsh, isn't it, really, I suppose?
Was it called bog snorkeling? Bog snogging?
Bog snorkeling.
Snorkeling. Bog snorkeling. Okay.
Yeah. I've got some images which are actually quite...
we don't need images, thank you. We don't need the images. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bog snorkeling.
maybe we'll cover bog snogging another time.
Snorkeling.
Snorkeling. Sorry, bog snorkeling.
You can imagine we'll get some guy on. What do you do? Well, I'm a farmer in Wales. I do what What do you do? Well, I like going bog snorkeling.
That's a bit kind of okay.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a weird sport, isn't it?
That is a weird sport. So yeah, we will cover any sport. Bring it to us and we'll discuss it.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I was just wondering.
We did futsal last week, Finn. Last podcast. If you like futsal or wanted to know a bit more about futsal, we covered it with our guest on our last podcast. So you'll find it on the YouTube channel. So yeah.
Yeah, it was that was a very interesting show. I thought he was very
interesting,
good.
very informative, and I learnt a lot actually on that show.
I enjoyed that, and
yeah, and I know that A-Star Football, they're still looking for an indoor venue to play because they're growing their numbers. So any schools out there that can offer a hand to a local futsal team that is bringing up grassroots football. What did he say, from the age of 4 or 5, something like that?
Yeah, they were under 7s, weren't they?
Very, very young. Then, get in touch with me or get in touch with A-Star Futsal on social media.
Here's a football score that might shock.
Okay.
So this is in Serie A at the moment. Empoli 2, Juventus 0.
That kind of doesn't shock me, to be fair. Juve have been a bit unbalanced, shall we say, the last few weeks.
You mean like Tottenham?
A bit like Tottenham, yeah. They're kind of like the Tottenham of Serie A. Now,
it's quite amazing that the Spurs have loaned out 11 players this season, and One of them has won the Scudetto in Italy. Two are in the final of the Europa League for Sevilla. I think one's in the other final. Oh, did they?
Oh,
That news I haven't seen yet. So
no, Finn has got breaking news here.
yeah.
Juve
I'm
got
just having
another
a quick.
10-point deduction.
Yeah, I've just got to verify this. Yes, so hold on a minute.
So where
Yeah.
does that put them out of? Where does that put them then?
Right. So this is so Finn's update, but this is breaking news. So this is the news here. Juventus have been docked 10 points following a new investigation into the club's past transfer dealings. May I say that Fabio Paratici, who was at Spurs, probably had something to do with it. Juve were initially handed a 15-point penalty in January, but Italy's highest sporting court overturned that decision in April and ordered the case to be re-examined. The new ruling was announced on Monday before the team's away game to Empoli. So just before they went on the pitch, they were told they won't be in Europe anymore.
So the 10 points is definite. Is that the final deduction?
So the penalty drops Juve to 7th outside the European qualification. Napoli have already secured the title before Monday's ruling, with 17 points ahead of second place Juve.
Wow, interesting.
So in Italy, Italy's Sport Guarantee Board revoked Juve's 15-point penalty from the Italian Football Federation, the FIGC Appeals Court. It asked the appeals court to revise punishments to the club and some key figures, including former vice chairman Pavel Nedved. Long bans given to former chairman Andrea Agnelli, ex-chief executive Maurizio Arrivabene, and sporting directors Federico Cherubini and Fabio Paratici have now been upheld. If Juve beat Empoli, they will be 2 points behind AC, who occupy the final Champions League spot with 2 games to play. But Juve are now also embroiled in criminal proceedings over their accounting practices, with 12 current and former key figures, including Agnelli, facing a potential trial. According to Italian news agencies, a High Court hearing on the 26th of October will decide whether any eventual trial will be held in Turin, where the investigation has taken place, or in either Milan or Rome. So that's the update on the dirty Italian league that everybody knows is full of cheats. But I didn't say that, bubbly, yeah.
They are always getting themselves in trouble, Juve, honestly, always. When was it? It was what, 10, 15 years ago? They had the same problem, but that was match rigging.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
and they got relegated to Serie B, and you know that they just don't know how to stay clean. The old ladies,
and the thing
lady.
that really annoys me is Paratici might have been brilliant in his job, and I know that this is speculation, and I fully appreciate that we're just talking rather than accusing, but there's a saying in life: there's no smoke without fire. If you've been party to some of the things I put on Facebook, these aren't my personal thoughts. These have been things that I've picked up and transferred from someone's whatever to my page. A lot of people have been very angry with Daniel Levy. Here's the thing: he's the one picking all these people. If you pick a guy who's very good at his job, but there's a lot of smoke there, why would you put him in your club?
Yes.
Right? And I think that I've said this for years. Let the football people do football. If Daniel Levy wants to stay in charge of Tottenham, let him stick to the business. Because as a businessman, I think he's very, very good. As a guy who organises football, I think he couldn't organise a pea in a brewery. Yeah, it's just shocking. I posted a list of the managers that he's had since he took over in 2001. Not just the ones who are caretakers and acting managers like Ryan Mason is. When you think that his biggest success was Pochettino, he was the one that he supported the least.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is
So
crazy.
this year, in the summer of 2022, he gave Conte the money for the players that Conte wanted. I know, being Conte, that he wanted a ready-made team that he had at Chelsea. You can't buy a top centre half these days, a top centre half, for less than about 75, 80 million.
Mm.
Maguire went from Leicester to Man United for 80 million, and he is not a top centre half. So when you look at the ones in Italy that are like Bastoni, Conte wants Bastoni, and Spurs want to spend 40, 45 million. I mean, what sort of planet are they on, thinking that someone's going to sell Bastoni for 40 or 45
That's
million?
never going to
Because
happen.
the Italians haven't got any money,
Mm.
they're not going to sell an asset for 25 million less than they need. If
Yeah.
they have no money left, they're going to say, right, if you give us 60, we can pay our finances off. And you think you've got a deal, they'll kind of swallow the other 10 million. That's what Everton did with Richarlison. Spurs spent 60 million on a bloke that I could not have spent 30 million on.
Mm.
And now Madrid want to buy him. If I'm Tottenham manager, or I'm Daniel Levy, I'm saying to Richarlison, thanks, mate. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Because I get my £60 million back.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. And then I get rid of Ndombele and Lo Celso and all the other players I don't want to keep, and I bring in £150 million straight away. Plus I can, and Spurs' budget, I kid you not, from FFP, even with the drop, they can spend about 400 million this summer.
Wow.
No other club can spend that money.
Mm.
400 million. 400 million. You can buy 5 players out of this world for that money. First of all, you buy Mamadashvili in goal. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that kid's the best keeper in the world. He is outstanding. Outstanding. I just think he's absolutely different gravy. He's 22. You get a guy who's got 12, 14 years in your goal who's different gravy. You can bring 2 centre halves in for 75, 80 million each. A top midfielder, well, you get Maddison for about 55, Ward-Prowse for about 30, and you buy another striker to replace Richarlison. So you've got Tottenham have got a great team again. You would have a great team.
They'll never spend anywhere near that.
Yeah, but that's what you've got to do to get everyone on side.
Yeah.
You want Kane to stay. Give him the bloody team around him, and he thinks, Jesus, all these players here, and all of a sudden next season, instead of being down there with all the also-rans, you're up there with a we're in the run. All right, Man City still win it, I imagine, but you're now battling Liverpool and Man United and Man City, and actually have a chance of beating them. Well, we tend to beat Man City anyway because they're not that good. But, you know, all joking, well, we do beat them every year. To be fair, we do beat. In fact, we're the only team that does beat them every year.
Yeah. The Man City's
Right.
bogey team. I'm just going to
Yeah,
put my line.
but we've always been that way.
Hey?
But we have always been We've always been Man City's bogey team, even in the 70s.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, but they used to be ours for a while, and he's just switched, and that was it. I mean, ever since the FA Cup final in '81, you look at the results between the two, and you'd be surprised. Spurs have had an unbelievable amount of wins against Man City.
Mm.
It's quite a strange one. But joking aside, if you put a club together and you build a team, you think, right, that's a really good team, and you're looking now thinking, you know, we really have got a good team, and the reserves that aren't making it in the starting team, you've actually got a good bench. Yeah, yesterday, Man City put their C team out against Chelsea. Did you see their bench? They had £500 million on the bench.
Really?
And that was Haaland. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Haaland's value on today's market is probably about 175 million.
Yeah.
Right? Kevin De Bruyne was on the bench. Yeah? That's 2 players, right? The normal centre halves are on the bench. The goalkeeper's on the bench. 2 of the midfielders that always play were on the bench. So Gundogan I'm not even sure he got on the bench. I mean, they really had. It was unbelievable. They had 500 million on the bench. I kid you not. They beat Chelsea. I know Chelsea could say they had a couple of chances, but all joking aside, Man City, they just never looked like losing.
No, they did. They
You're
had
right
a
there.
little bit of like a 3-4 run spell where they were drawing games and things like that. But yeah,
With
I'm
Man
with that.
City.
Yeah,
By the way, Newcastle is still 0-0.
interesting, interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is interesting. If they're still 0-0 at half time, I'll be very happy. I'll cash out then. Need to make a few quid because you don't pay me enough for doing this.
I do. I think it's wrapped up in sweets, don't I?
So this is I bought this last week. These are those lovely these licorice sweets. You see I'm all
No, I
right?
can't see
There we
them.
go.
Hold
I've
it
got
up
to
to
go.
the
Which way have I
camera.
go?
Hold it up to
Here's
the
the-
camera. No, can't see anything.
Hold on. I'm going backwards and forwards.
No.
For God's sake. Hold on. They're like those ones with the
Oh,
Yeah?
those ones. Those. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Right, yeah, they're off, are you?
No,
So-
there's that Bertie Bassett, something like that.
Yeah, they call them
Licorice all sorts.
licorice cream rock or something like that.
Oh,
They call it,
okay.
you know.
Okay.
Anyway, those and I got a bag of squashies. We're not allowed to advertise, are we?
No. Other sweets
Other
are
sweets,
available.
other sweets can be bought from other confectioners, but they're not as good as squashies. I like the banana ones, blueberry and banana squashies. They're nice,
Oh, I've not had those.
but other sweets can be bought.
So we do like Italian football
No.
on this show. We cover it a lot. Especially me. I'm a Napoli fan.
Yeah. Have you seen? Well, somebody has to be. I did say this because my
you
daughter
know,
asked
shall I
me
tell you
yesterday.
something? Shall I tell you something really interesting? So when Napoli won the game that won them Serie A,
Mhm.
there was so much celebrating by the fans. It actually got to a 0.2 on the Richter scale.
Yeah,
A mini
I was
earthquake.
about to say something similar.
Honestly,
So Emily
it's
said to
true.
me,
It's true.
she said to me, "Daddy, what's going on at the football ground there?" They had the fireworks and everything, and you could see it rocking. And I said, "Well, they're celebrating winning the league, darling." So Napoli, of
Oh,
course, Arsenal are rubbish.
Napoli, 100%. 100%.
So I did explain to her that it's somewhat ironic that since Maradona died, so he died in the October, yeah? So Argentina wins the World Cup and Napoli wins the Scudetto.
I know.
I mean, that's kind of
I know.
spooky.
I know. What
Here's
a
the other
waste
thing.
of memory.
Across Europe, yeah?
Yeah.
So we're getting to the end now. Obviously, here in the UK, Man City have won it. So in France, the top two teams in France are PSG and Lens. PSG, no, Lens. Lens, Lens,
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. Yep.
as opposed to Lyon.
Okay.
Right, Lyon seventh. So PSG need a point to be guaranteed from the last two games. In La Liga, Barcelona, they won it quite a long time ago. But my lot, they're in their usual spot for the 5th year running. Atletico Bilbao sit in 7th place. They love being 7th. It's not quite good enough.
They're
to
lucky
be-
number.
they end up in the conference, right? They can't catch, well, they could catch Betis, but it's unlikely. And they'll probably hold off Girona and Sevilla.
Okay.
So, Elche, who are bottom of the table, are going down with either 2 from 3 here, Espanyol, Valladolid or Getafe. In the Bundesliga, though, that's the close one. So this year, Bayern Munich, with all the money that they've got, are second. One game left because they have 18 in the Bundesliga. Dortmund need to win because Bayern's goal difference is so much better. Last game of the season is this weekend coming, yeah? Right. Dortmund are at home to Mainz. Mainz, mid-table, can't, and they've lost their last 4 games. And München, so Bayern Munich, they are away at Köln, which is Cologne as far as you're concerned, and they are 10th and won't make any difference. So Dortmund will be crowned champions. Bayern will finish second. Leipzig will be third. Touch and go who gets fourth. Champions League football will be between Union Berlin, who most people wouldn't believe would be in the league there, or Sporting Club Freiburg, which might surprise. Eintracht Frankfurt, who won. Huh?
2 surprise names there.
Union Berlin and Freiburg,
Yeah.
Leverkusen are 6th. Wolfsburg are 7th. Frankfurt are 8th. But for Frankfurt to get there, they need a bit of a miracle. They've got to win by about 10 goals. So they're not going to get... And they won the Europa League last year, Frankfurt, 2 years ago. Sorry, a year ago, because they were in the Champions League this year. They were in the same group as Spurs. So it's a lot can change in football. And they're going to finish where Spurs are as well. Rubbish.
So
The relegated sides, well, Hertha's going down, which is a bit of a shame because I've always liked Hertha Berlin. Gareth's favourite team, Schalke, that he always called Schalke. There are 4 teams battling to stay up. Schalke, Bochum, Stuttgart, Augsburg. Even Hoffenheim technically could go down, but they won't.
Okay.
So, there you go. That was the update.
So that's really close in the Bundesliga then.
At the bottom. Yeah, but they only have 18. The bottom 2 go down and the third one plays off against the top one from the other league.
Right.
So in the football, it's nearly half time. Still 0-0.
Still 0-0.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got just over
10 that they're
minutes
going
to
to
go.
score at
So
some point.
you need to give us another clue.
Loads of clues, right. I'll give you 2.
Okay.
Right, so I was going to tell you that the IRA bombed Warrington, but you won't remember that. So the Ford Mondeo went on sale.
Okay.
That did help. Canada had their first female prime minister. Excuse me while I
Well, the Warrington bombing, I vaguely remember that.
For those of you watching in black and white, Tara disappeared.
You
You
froze.
disappeared.
So okay,
Finn, you have to guess the year, mate. That's the
we
whole
have to
point.
guess what
All
year
these
it
clues are in the
is.
same year.
Yeah, we have to guess what year it is from all the clues that Steve gives us.
So he's looking up what's a Ford Mondeo.
Okay, so
does
the
that help?
Warrington bombing, I remember that, and I was actually youngish. I think I might have been in my teens.
So what's that, about 1950?
We're a family show, so I have to be.
Yeah, what? So where do we think you are? Because you've been so far. You've been in 2001. You've been in the 70s, the late 70s. We've been in the early 80s. Where are we now then?
I'm sticking. I'm going to stick actually with the. I'm going to stick with the 80s.
Yeah, when?
I'm going to stick with the 80s, and I'm going to. I do remember the Warrington bombing. I really do remember that one, because that's when the kiddie died, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Little boy of 3.
Yes. So I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with 84, 1984.
That was last year. Last week.
What?
That was what we did last time, didn't we?
What did you?
I'm glad you buy a.
He wants all the clues again. Okay, especially for
He
Finn.
wants to, you see, the thing is, he wants to now Google it, right? And you can't Google it, yeah?
You're not allowed to
Because if you
Google that.
Google it, it's too obvious that you got it. Because unless you would remember it, which you can't remember, because it's not this century, as I told you, so you can't possibly remember it. The
But for
Pentium processor was introduced.
Pentium processor.
Islamic fundamentalists bombed the World Trade Center. The IRA bombed Warrington. Russia and the US signed the START II treaty. The Ford Mondeo went on sale. Canada had the first female prime minister. An Indian earthquake killed 10,000. Let's go with this one. That'll help you a little bit. Because this is really going to cook your noodle here, I'm afraid, Tara, yeah?
Uh-oh.
The Maastricht Treaty was signed on February the 7th, formally establishing the EU.
Oh.
She says, having changed her mind yet again.
Yes, again.
I told you it was a good one this week.
Is that the last clue?
No, there are 3 more clues because I think the last clue probably would give you a very close answer.
Okay. Because we've got 8 minutes left.
Yes, so I'm giving you the next clue because this is
Okay.
running down at. Ben Johnson was banned from athletics for life.
Oh, okay. Okay, for the drugging.
Yeah.
Don't we feel old, Steve? We feel really old. Finn,
Yeah.
you've made us feel really old. Thank you so much.
So Ben Johnson was banned for life, yeah?
Okay. Okay.
And he was Finn doesn't know this, but he was very famous, yeah?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Buckingham Palace opened its doors to the public. If you don't know what Buckingham Palace is, Finn, you shouldn't be watching this, mate.
And you shouldn't be doing history.
Yeah. It's known as Buck House, but Buckingham Palace, yeah? So
Oh, so that
Buckingham
was...
Palace opened its doors to the public.
Can I change my guess then?
Well, you've changed it about 9 times already. What do you want now?
That was a hell of a lot more. No, but that doesn't.
What year do you think we're in now then? Do you need another clue?
Have you got one more, or is that the?
I've got 2 clues left.
Okay, one more clue. One more clue.
Okay. Nelson Mandela. And if Finn doesn't know who that is, we have got a problem. Nelson Mandela and F.W. de Klerk won the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's a very good accent. That was
I
good.
know, I can come from Potchefstroom. If I was in South Africa, I could go and get the fryer.
That's very good. Oh. All right. I'm going to say 91. 1991.
So we were early 70s, late 70s, 84. Now we're in 1991.
I'm going 91 and I'm sticking with 91 then.
You're sticking to 1991.
Yes.
Okay. Final clue.
All right.
The biggest selling single of the year was sung by a man known as Marvin Lee Aday, better known to his fans as Meatloaf. I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that, which was at number 1 for 7 weeks and on the charts for 14. Does that help with
91.
the year?
91's too early for that song, isn't it?
I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh, yeah, well, all right. I said 91 was going to be my final, so I have to stick with it. That's too early. That's way too early, though.
So what year do you want to say then? After 97 clues and 19 changes, what year do you want to settle on?
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna
Where's
say
that button that goes?
2001. I'm gonna say 2001.
It can't be 2001. The blooming World Trade Center. We've had this conversation.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
I am sorry, viewers. The donut who works with me.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna go. Okay.
He works at Greg's and can be seen at your local store.
Okay. I'm gonna say 98. How's that? 98.
1998.
Yes.
So we've gone from the 70s to 1998. It's nothing like having a wide entrance. Wow. The answer was, for those who are still alive and breathing, 1993.
Oh, so it was early 90s.
Round of applause for me.
Oh, yeah. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Oh,
Well
dear.
done. That was a good one. That was a very good one. That was all
Well-
over the place.
Yes, and that was the reason I did it, was because, to be fair, the Pentium, when I first read it, I thought, that can't be 93.
Yeah.
Because I, like you, I thought that must have been the 80s, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then when Russia and US signed the treaty, I did say it was Start 2. And the first one was done by Reagan. And that was in
Okay.
84. So, so I kind of knew. I thought, well, God, that makes more sense. I remember the IRA bombing Warrington, but
Yeah, I
if you remember,
remember
we had the Good Friday Agreement when Tony Blair was in power, and he
Okay.
came into power in 1997. So the Good Friday Agreement, I can't remember exactly. It might have been 98, 99. I might be wrong. It's about 25 years ago. So I think, or it might have been just before he came into power. He had something to do with it. But I do believe that was a bit of a giveaway. The Mondeo, I couldn't believe that was 1993.
No. I thought it was older than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was in the 80s, late 80s.
Yeah,
I thought it was
yeah.
about 86, 87. The Maastricht Treaty, I got caught out with that as well. I can't remember the Conservatives signing it. And if they did, which they must have done, I thought Margaret Thatcher must have done it. But she couldn't have.
She couldn't have.
No. So John Major would have signed it, which was a bit, caught me out as well. And Buckingham Palace, I didn't think that was 93 either. I thought that was about 96. So, you know, it's hard to remember all these things because unless you specifically did one of those things or you were at one of those things, or it was, I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, I know that for Finn, he can't know this, but he wouldn't have watched what we watched on 9/11. I mean, I watched it like it was traumatic. I don't know about you, it was a bit scary, but it was also quite eerie as well watching it, thinking,
It was very surreal watching it.
yeah,
It felt
it
really
was. And I just
surreal, you
remember
know?
my girlfriend at the time ringing me up saying she said, switch the bloody telly on. That's exactly
Yeah.
what she said. And I thought, what's happened? And every
Yeah.
channel had it on.
Yeah.
And I watched it. It was 2:00 in the afternoon here, and I thought, my God, what's going on? And when the first one, I didn't realise it was a plane that had gone into it.
I don't think many people did with the first
No,
one.
then the second one definitely,
second one,
because you
'cause we
could see
saw
it
that
coming from a long way.
happen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just
Bizarre.
horrific.
Really
Yeah.
surreal. Anyway,
Absolutely.
listen, we have come up to our 2 hours. Finn, I have to say a massive thank you to you. For
Yeah,
being
well done for lasting that long, mate.
absolutely, and for being a
We'll be
really,
back in a fortnight
really
with a
good
guest.
part of the show, and to bringing some valuable information about Juve to the show. You know, we didn't even know
Yeah.
that. So well done to you. Hope you join us in 2 weeks' time when we'll
Yeah,
be
we will
back.
have a guest. He should be
We
all
will
right
have a
next fortnight.
guest. Yeah, and it will be a bit more of a football thing. No, so we do the podcast every fortnight. So
Yeah,
it's
every fortnight. I
fortnight,
haven't
every
got 2
2
hours
weeks.
to spend. Tara can't afford me for more than 2 hours a fortnight.
But if you want to follow us on social media, I'm quite I do quite a lot on Twitter. So the Sports Deck One on Twitter, and I have a Facebook page, the Sports Deck, as well. Follow us on there. You'll be updated regularly on everything that we do. No commentary for a long time, unfortunately, because season football and basketball is finished. But maybe we'll get you involved. Maybe we'll get you as a guest on the show.
Yeah. We threatened to have a youngster on, didn't we?
We did. And
Yeah,
to be
my
honest,
daughter, she's sort of trying to angle out of it. Talk about rowing.
sorry, my brain.